Former President Donald Trump pleads not guilty to new charges involving classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. The GOP frontrunner faces a total of 40 felony counts in Florida.
And that is just part of his legal problems.
Bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
It started right at the beginning.
Like when Millie's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
This case became much more serious the moment prosecutors stopped talking only about documents and started talking about obstruction. Because keeping classified documents is one legal fight. Trying to hide evidence or interfere with investigators is a completely different level of risk. And that's the part a lot of people missed when this story first broke. Donald Trump has repeatedly framed these investigations as political attacks that started before he even returned to office. That's what you just heard in that interview clip. The argument from Trump's side has always been, they were coming after me no matter what. But prosecutors are building a very different argument. Their claim is not simply that documents existed at Mar-a-Lago. Their claim is that people around Trump knowingly tried to stop investigators from getting information they were legally asking for. And if you listen carefully, that's where the legal danger really starts. Because in major federal cases, prosecutors often care less about the original mistake than what happens afterward. Did someone cooperate? Did they comply with subpoenas? Did they try to hide evidence? Did they move documents around? Did they delete anything? That's where obstruction cases usually begin growing fast. And according to the updated indictment, prosecutors believe there was enough evidence to add new charges connected to alleged efforts to destroy surveillance footage before investigators could obtain it. That is not a small accusation, because security footage becomes important for one reason. It shows movement, who entered rooms, who moved boxes. When documents were relocated, who knew what was happening? Basically, investigators appear to believe the footage could help establish a timeline, and if somebody intentionally tried to prevent investigators from seeing that timeline, prosecutors could argue that shows consciousness of guilt. Now watch this next part carefully. Listen to how casually Trump discusses the documents themselves. Because prosecutors later used moments like this to argue he understood exactly what kind of material he possessed.
Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him.
That clip may sound informal or harmless to some people at first, but legally, prosecutors saw it very differently. Because one of the biggest defenses Trump allies pushed publicly was the idea that he either did not know what he had or that the documents were automatically declassified. But in recordings referenced by investigators, Trump appears to acknowledge that certain materials were sensitive and connected to military or defense information. That matters a lot because federal prosecutors often build these cases around knowledge and intent. Did the person understand the material was sensitive? Did they know they were not supposed to retain it? Did they show awareness privately that contradicts what was said publicly later? That's why this recording became such a major part of the case. And this connects to another important issue people sometimes overlook. This was not happening during a chaotic final day in office. According to prosecutors, this situation continued long after Trump left the White House, and after repeated requests from the government to return documents, that's what transformed this from a political controversy into a criminal investigation. Because once subpoenas enter the picture, every action afterward becomes heavily scrutinized. Now pay attention to this final section. This is where prosecutors start describing what they believe happened behind the scenes involving staff members and surveillance footage.
Well, Anthony Tia, as of right now, the former president is facing criminal charges in 3 different jurisdictions and may soon be charged in a 4th. Now, Trump was not in court this morning, but we did see both accused co-conspirators in this case. Now, in this updated indictment, prosecutors claim Trump and 2 staffers tried to destroy security camera video before investigators could get it. Trump's lawyers pleaded not guilty for him this morning, and his personal aide, Walt Nauta, pleaded not guilty also.
This is where the investigation starts looking less like paperwork confusion and more like an organized effort prosecutors believe involved multiple people. Notice the wording carefully. Destroy security camera video before investigators could get it. That is the type of language prosecutors use when they believe evidence was intentionally targeted. And if proven, obstruction charges can become extremely damaging because juries often understand obstruction very simply. Regular people may debate classified documents, presidential authority, or declassification powers. But most people understand the basic idea that destroying evidence during an investigation looks suspicious immediately. That's why obstruction charges are often politically dangerous, even beyond the courtroom itself. And this case kept expanding. Not just one defendant, not just one jurisdiction. More charges, more witnesses, more recordings, more staff members pulled into the investigation. At the same time, Trump continued running for president while facing criminal cases across multiple jurisdictions. That created something the United States had never really seen before. A leading presidential candidate fighting multiple criminal prosecutions in real time. And politically, Trump's strategy has been very consistent throughout all of it. Frame the investigations as politically motivated, frame prosecutors as partisan, frame the legal system itself as weaponized. That message has remained extremely powerful with his supporters. But prosecutors appear to be betting on something else entirely. Documents, recordings, surveillance footage, witness testimony, and timelines. In other words, they are trying to build a case based less on political opinion and more on physical evidence. And that is why this story matters so much. Because if this were only about political rhetoric, it would probably fade like many other controversies. But once recordings, subpoenas, and alleged obstruction enter the picture, the stakes become very real very quickly. At the end of the day, this case is no longer just about classified documents sitting in boxes. It's about what prosecutors believe happened after investigators started asking questions. And in almost every major political scandal, that is usually where the real legal danger begins. Let me know what you think in the comments. And subscribe for more investigative breakdowns like this.